Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Basement Radio Arcade podcast number 55. And we're back, and we got a lot of gaming related news to talk about this evening. But first, we have a special guest on with us tonight. Second time he's been on BRAP. We have Shinobi 602. Many of you guys may know him from Gaff and Twitter. Shinobi, man, what's going on, man?
Hey guys, nothing much. I'm just happy to be here. It's been a while.
Yeah, man, we're really happy that you could join us this new year, 2017, early on in the new
Yes.
year to talk some video games, man. So thank you again for your time, man.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And we are down a co-host tonight. John is well, he's going to try to make it on tonight, but he may not be on. So big shout out to John, Mr. Negative, and as always, big shout out to the regular panel. We have Eric Jackson. Eric, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
We have Sam from Rivia.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
Where's Roach? Without further ado, last but not least, we have B Money. What's up, B Money?
Not much, man. How's everybody doing today?
Good,
Doing
man.
well, man. Doing well. Just I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to buy all these games that are coming out soon. So
Yeah, man.
that's my dilemma at the moment.
New gaming season is upon us, man.
Absolutely. But so yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of gaming related topics to talk about. Nintendo had their big presser last Thursday, where we finally got to see or learn about all the details related to the Nintendo Switch. Got to see some of their games. But before we get to that, let's talk about what everyone's playing. So Shinobi, since you're the guest tonight, what are you currently playing?
Oh, I'll start off then. So over the weekend, I finally beat Dishonored 2, which I loved. I absolutely loved.
Awesome.
It's in my top 10 for 2016 for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, I like the first one. So I wasn't expecting to really love this, but I mean, it took me by surprise because the level design is absolutely incredible. There's like so many ways to approach, different scenarios, different, like combat scenarios, things like that. Like so many nook and crannies to explore. The art direction is beautiful. And just the overall lore of that world is really interesting. The story is nothing like, to write home about, but, it did its job. So, that's incredible. Arkane did a really amazing job with that game. And then the next day, because it's the weekend, so I usually have free time on the weekend. I don't play much during the week. So I started up Dead Rising 4 on my Xbox One, and I beat that in probably about 15 hours. I played one day, the next day, and that was good fun too. I like Dead Rising 3. I didn't like the first two too much because I wasn't a fan of like the timers and things like that.
Right.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, because I like, I know a lot of people are sticklers about that. They're purists, so they, oh, it's not a real Dead Rising without timers and things like that. But whatever. I like to take my time at my leisure, just have fun killing zombies and exploring the city and things like that. So having a timer on my ass is, I don't feel, it doesn't. I feel like I'm rushed, so I don't like that. So Dead Rising 4 was good. It was a good time. A lot of mayhem, destruction, so that was fun. I love the. I'm obsessed with like crafting the weapons out of like little things. Like they tell you like combine like a, like some kind of like a house spray or something like that, like a bleach spray with a sledgehammer, and it comes out like this fucking like chemical massive warhammer thing with like acid or something. That's awesome. So all of that kind of stuff. And I think the last thing was I tried to play XCOM 2 yesterday. I tweeted out I was starting it. I played for a few hours. That was on my Xbox One too, and played for a few hours. And I was like, nah, I'm not feeling this. Yeah, I don't know if it's just me aging, getting older or something, or my taste changing. I don't have time. I didn't have the patience for it. I'm like, I don't feel like. I didn't have, like I said on Twitter today, I don't have the mental stamina for that anymore, just to these tactics games. So it's definitely a quality game. Like I think it's probably very well made. I'm sure it's a great game. It's just I don't think it's for me at this point in time. So I kind of gave up on that. I just don't have the the stamina for that right now. So that's pretty much it.
No, I hear you, man. I mean,
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah. Have you guys played XCOM 2?
I haven't tried it.
Okay.
No, I have played the original to death and back, though.
Okay.
I played like 50, 60 hours of that one.
Yeah, I mean, this was my very first XCOM, so I was kind of like reading up the wiki and kind of like getting the backstory. So people were starting it, but like it's not bad. It's just I don't know what it is. I guess it's maybe because of the little time I have to play each week. So I'm like, I'm not gonna waste my time like trying to figure out these tactics and like, this RNG, random number generator and missing. I don't know. I was like, I don't feel like doing this right now. So.
I love XCOM, but it's a mentally draining series.
Exactly.
It takes a lot of stamina. Yeah.
Exactly. So so I'm not saying it's bad at all. It wasn't for me. So.
You guys aren't exactly selling me on trying this game.
I've always heard, it's like it's one of those games that you have to just be like mentally focused into, mentally prepared for. It's not the easiest game either.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. So yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
All right. Sam, what about you, man?
Shockingly, I've been playing a lot of Gears 4 yet again. They've had a couple of new packs and I think they've added like 200 skins over this past weekend. So just when I thought I was closing in on completing my collection, they go and ruin that, but it's fun. It's fun trying. I'm working on my third re-up. And then, let's see, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 15. I'm really trying to get the 1,000 out of 1,000 on that one. People have talked about that game in depth, and I've talked about what I like about it before. I will say, getting a bit later into the story, I start to see where some of the bigger complaints come from. Like, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but those of you who have played it or finished it or whatever, you'll, I imagine, understand what I'm talking about. There's a couple of events that's like, well, now, wait a minute, couldn't you have just shown that on screen or maybe, given that a little more detail? I don't know. But I'm still enjoying it. And then the other game that I've been playing, trying to work on getting the 1,000 out of 1,000 in that one too, is called Rise and Shine. It's a little $15 bullet hell game.
Yeah, I've been hearing good things about that one.
Yeah, basically it's just designed to take the piss out of modern gaming. It's brutally difficult. Like, seriously, it goes beyond Dark Souls in some ways. It's very difficult. A lot of puzzles, a lot of old-style bosses. But the art direction and the story is written to be a complete satire of modern gaming tropes and things like that. So it's weird because it's like it's tense, but then you'll get to a cutscene and then you'll just be laughing, So it's been good fun, especially considering it's a cheap game. So that's pretty much it.
And how much is this game?
It's a $15 game. It's on Steam and Xbox One.
Yeah, I've been hearing people rave about it, man. So
it's good.
I have it on my radar, but that backlog is no joke.
Yeah, I picked it up, but I still haven't actually started it yet. Everybody was talking about how great it was, and everybody over at the website tscgn.com, the guys who were reviewing it have been talking it up really big, so I went ahead and picked it up, but I haven't started it yet.
Yeah, I will say this. The artistic style of this game is really nice. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, this is really cool. I may have to check this out. Yeah,
I'm trying to hold off on his.
Just do it. Just keep do what I keep doing, man. I keep adding to my backlog. Although I actually was good. I didn't add. I know B1 was kind of like, he's like, why didn't you pick up Bloodborne? It was on sale. Honestly, I didn't do it because I felt guilty, man. I felt guilty because I was like, if I spend this, it's gonna go to the backlog, and I'm probably not gonna get to it for months.
Yeah. And is there anything sadder than a game just sitting there waiting on you? Unless you found that game for a really good price, and Bloodborne was a really good price, so that one you shouldn't feel guilty for.
I know, but still, man, that's I don't know. Yeah,
if you're buying the $60 like games that are just dropping, and then you don't get to those for months, those you feel guilty about.
Yeah. When you get a great deal, man, you can't feel guilty.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. I mean, that's true. I mean, you can't argue that. But
you've been doing good, man. You've been staying out of Best Buy. I didn't think you'd stick to it like that, except for when you were like there Black Friday making documentaries.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So Shinobi, I was having fun on Black Friday with people. People were posting on Twitter. They're posting pictures of console stacks So I was kind of poking fun at that. I was sitting outside Best Buy. So
Oh gosh.
yeah, it was kind of funny. It was just spur of the moment type thing. It totally wasn't even scripted or anything like that. But Eric, so what are you playing right now, man?
What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, Sam, is that it? I'm sorry. We didn't even finish with Sam.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I've been dabbling into some other stuff, but nothing major.
Gotcha. All right. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I just wrapped on Final Fantasy 15.
Congratulations, sir, on that platinum.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Congrats on that platinum, man.
Yeah, man, that platinum is. I will say it's not like overall the hardest platinum to get, but damn, man, that the Adamantoise fight at the end. The Adamantoise. Oh man, that's like a 2-hour battle, right? And I don't know. I mean, maybe if you're at a super higher level, it goes by a lot quicker. But I kind of went into that battle at like level 49, 50, something like that. Maybe even 51, I think. And yeah, so the first time I fought it, the first time I went in to fight it, I got it like all the way down to like 0. I could see no like yellow in the bar anymore, or whatever the case may be. And I was like, here it is, almost done. I'm gonna move on, get that plat. And all of a sudden, the game glitched or something happened, and I ended up like a mile away outside of the battle. And I saw the marker, and I'm like, I know what this means, because when you get kicked out, when you move outside of the marker,
Excuse me.
or outside of the battle area, or you quit, you have to do the whole battle over again.
Dude, I would have raged. I would have thrown my mic across the room. There would have been problems.
I sat staring at the monitor, at the TV. I'm just like, but you know, gamer things. You go, no, I'm like a trophy. I'm like one trophy away from the platinum. I did all this work. I got to go back in and do this.
Eric put the controller down, took a deep breath, took a sip of some of that silk almond milk that he likes to drink.
With lime.
With lime, there you go.
But no, this is a serious battle. It's not the most difficult battle. It's just time consuming. So I mean, like there's like a bathroom break in between this battle.
Yeah, man.
You know, yeah. So yeah, the next day I just put it down. I said, you know what? I'll leave it alone for now. You know, got up in the morning, had a nice breakfast. You know, made sure my daughter was good. Got my head right. I said, here we go. Let's go. So now I went back in, finally took care of it, and I had that nervous stomach. Like, I swear to God, this thing glitches again, or something happens. Yeah. So yeah, but no, it was cool to get that platinum. That game is a lot of fun. As we can tell, people talk about it nonstop. You know, so I'm kind of glad that a lot of people are, you know, who haven't played Final Fantasies over the years or were never big fans are giving the game a chance. Like, I've seen people on Twitter who I didn't think would ever give that game a chance, like jumping into it and seem to be enjoying it. So that's great.
Well,
yeah.
The less I say about it, the better. It was my first Final Fantasy and probably my last one.
Although I'd like to know why. So yeah, because this is my first one also. I don't know if it'll be my last one, but it was definitely my first one. But I do want to go back and, you know, finally play like Final Fantasy 7 and see what that's about. You know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There were just so many like cumbersome mechanics in there that could have been done a lot better. And I don't know, man. Just the story. Half the time I was confused what was going on. Like a lot of the scenes were just overly dramatic, and I like the guys. I like the group of 4 guys. I grew to like, you know, Gladio and Ignis and Prompto and all that. Like, I liked them. I ended up at first I was like, man, these guys are cringeworthy. It's just some of the lines.
Oh, it's bad. In that regard, it's bad. Yeah.
Some of the lines were just so stiff. You know, like I'm listening. I'm like, this is not how I would talk with like my buddies. You know, like they'd be like, come, come, Noctis. We must investigate this problem. Overseeing this. I'm like, dude. I'm like, no one talks like this. Like,
I've come up with a new recipe.
Yeah, you know. And like I'm not making fun of the game. It's just because I think it's well, like I said, like with XCOM. You know, I think it's well made. I think Square did a good job with it overall. Like with what they were trying to do, is just like, for me personally, I played Final Fantasy X. I played Final Fantasy what was the other one? Final Fantasy X was the first one I tried, and then Final Fantasy 13.
13,
which
yeah.
I'm not gonna say a damn thing about that. I lasted about 5 hours, and that was it.
Dude, I'd
that one.
even make it an hour in Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah.
Nope, done.
Yeah, they were talking about, just crystals and I don't know, all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, I literally did not know what was going on in that game, so I just stopped. But this one, same thing. Like, I got to the point where, like, he's talking about, like, he's doing a ritual and Altissia, and there's like gods and dragons and stuff. I'm like, I really don't know what is happening right now. and that boss fight with the dragon thing, that water dragon, whatever it's called, I forgot the god.
Leviathan.
Leviathan. I uploaded my clip on YouTube. It was like 2 minutes long, and I was literally just glitching everywhere. The dragon was like. I was just mashing the button over and over. I'm like, all right, maybe something's happening. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember you tweeting that. You were like, "What am I doing?"
Yes, but at least there was some epic music going on in the background. I was like, all right, I can rock to this music at least.
Right.
The music was good.
Yeah, it was good. I don't know, man. It was just, and then the car, like, man. Like the whole time I was thinking, I'm like, why can't I just like drive this car around like normally? Like it'd be so easy. I could just jump in the car, drive wherever, and just get out, and like that's it. Like just make it easy. But I don't know. They're like, oh, they made it like that way so you can enjoy the scenery and chat with your buddies and while you're driving and waiting. So I'm like, I don't care. In GTA, I'm driving the car, I'm enjoying the scenery. Like, why? I don't need to be able to, like, whatever. Anyway, I don't want to take away from you guys.
No. I think I let Noctis drive like twice. I was like, why am I letting him drive? Like, I don't know if it does anything or anything, but I was like, I let Ignis drive me everywhere. I'm a prince. Like,
right.
What, Shinobi? I think those are some real like issues. I mean, you talked about, sometimes the combat when you're in combat, like the camera seems a bit wonky, like it just spins around. You're like, whoa, where'd the enemy go?
It was.
Even if you locked in, sometimes you lose the enemy.
As much as I love Flash, as much as I enjoyed the game and really really got into it, there were definitely things that annoyed the hell out of me. Like in certain missions, like you had to do the creep walk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. What was that? My god, chapter 13. I want to kill myself.
Chapter 13. Yeah.
I'm sitting there. I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, someone actually went through this, like tested this level and played through this for an hour and thought, yep, stamp of approval. It's good. We're having fun. I'm like, what are you thinking? I don't know.
I guarantee you that it was not a matter of whether or not they liked it. It was a matter of this game had to bloody come out.
Right. That's what I was like.
Yeah,
shit, we gotta ship this thing.
Yeah, because I was in Castle Mark Tower, which going up, and it's like a maze. Of course, it drops down, does all these things, and the game got stuck in the camera position behind Noctis.
Yeah.
So it was stuck behind him, and he's doing the creep walk, and I couldn't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm supposed to take on, I don't know how I got through that level because it was already difficult to begin with in certain aspects. But it was just like, I don't know. I was like, I didn't do anything. All of a sudden, it just went behind him, and that's where it was. It turned into a first-person shooter almost.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
I mean, I'll give it at least a few things I liked. Like I said, the four guys I liked. I ended up liking them. At first I didn't, but I ended up. I'm like, these are my bros. Like I liked them towards the end. After everything. I like Gladio. He's kind of like the guy that kept your head straight. Kind of like you snapped the hell out of it.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot, and then Prompto, I ended up liking him, even though at first I hated him. But and visually, it's beautiful. Like the art direction is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Music is amazing. And the combat against the regular enemies was actually pretty good. Like it was fun.
Yeah.
Did you get like Devil May Cry vibes from that combat, or maybe like
a little bit? Yeah.
Bayonetta, maybe. Like I loved when the combat was like on point and you weren't losing people, even like with the camera or like a rock or a bush wasn't in your way.
Right.
The combat when you pull off combos and stuff was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the blind sides and the warp linking with the blades. It's a really innovative concept. I did like that.
Rick and I were talking about how they kind of married the whole feel of open combat with also turn-based combat.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
you know, kind of marrying them together in a really cool way. But no, I think that's kind of the thing that kind of drew me in outside of some of the weird wonky things is like, yeah, the relationship you start the bond you start to have with the guys and some of the other things that are going on in the world. But yeah, one of the things that Sam and I talked about, I said I could have done without is some of the side mission stuff. Is just like it just felt like how do we kind of extend it and give that illusion of value.
I did about 4 or 5 side missions, and then after that, I was like, I just lost interest. I'm like, I don't feel like doing these missions. But
yeah. Hey, real quick, guys. Speaking of sneaking in from the rear or going stealth, John has joined us.
So, John,
John, what's going on, man?
We're saying nothing but love for your favorite game, man. We're loving it.
Fucking 12-hour days this week, man.
Oh, dude, yeah.
You guys, I'm here for about 40 minutes because I'm like barely coherent right now. But my boy Shinobi's on, and I don't get to chill with him as much as I want to. So here I am.
Good to have you, man.
Yeah. What do we talk about?
We're talking about how much we love Final Fantasy 15, and we appreciate what it's done for the industry and things like that.
So what are you really talking about?
Shinobi was telling you, he's kind of giving us his experience with Final Fantasy 15. He wasn't maybe the biggest fan of the game.
That's allowed.
Yeah, and,
you know, like what, and that's the thing. Well, let me silence my phone here. No, that's the thing is that I actually I was on a podcast a couple weeks ago. It was a spoiler cast talking about Final Fantasy 15, and when I reviewed it for Super Deformed Gamescast, which goes live every Thursday, of course, at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Nice.
Yeah, right. That was pretty good. I said, well, I gave it 5 stars. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. We use a star system. And somebody on that podcast said, well, how can I ever trust your reviews again? And I was like, I don't know. You're welcome not to. Like, it's my fucking opinion, dude.
Right.
Shit. Well, it's not a perfect game. And I was like, no. It's not, but neither is Uncharted 2. I mean, nothing in life is perfect. What matters is whether or not that thing is perfect for you, and it was for me. So,
yeah, exactly.
That's a great point. Yeah.
That's what it's all
That's what
about.
I'm saying. Like, I even though I wasn't a fan of it, I enjoy hearing you saying how much you like it and how much you enjoy your time like that. I love hearing that because I just like hearing people enjoying the games they want, and you were looking forward to it. So that's great to hear.
It's the same reason I get exasperated when people, like, for example, say people say I love Resident Evil 6. It's my favorite. It's my favorite Resident Evil. Great. I hear that, I'm like, I'm not a fan of Resident Evil 6. But then when people dogpile on that person and say, well, your opinion is shit. How could you like that game? Everybody knows shit. I'm like, well,
yeah, I know.
Different strokes for different folks, man. Yeah. Like, I don't fucking get it.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I am. Disclaimer: I'm extremely fucking grumpy today. So
you got Grumpy John today. I love the game. I'm almost close to finally beating it. Thank God, because I've put like 55 hours in the game already. But I've enjoyed the experience. It's probably one of the better Final Fantasies that I've played. And I'll put it right up there with like 7 because 7's my favorite. But
wow,
it's good. It's good. I've really enjoyed it. I love the bond between the main characters. It kind of like I didn't really understand like sort of the dialogue. Now you're saying like I would never talk to my friends that way.
Right?
I don't think any of us would.
I would.
You don't talk to your friends about cup of noodles like that
every time. After all, cup of noodles. What does it say? After all, cup of noodles shrimp are picked from over 60 different varieties for their flavor and their shape.
The perfect blend of shrimp, egg, noodle.
The perfect blend of I guess man, cup noodles really are perfect. I love them. I know I sure do. Like, I'm sorry, but like that to me, like I didn't know whether to laugh or cry when I did the cup noodles quest. And the best part is like the boss, or the boss. I can't fucking talk tonight. The boss is a giant fucking shrimp.
Yeah.
Slaughter. So basically, what you've done is you've killed an innocent animal because Gladio is a fucking maniac. And I just, but yeah. At any rate, yeah, great game. And you know what? Next week there's one that holiday DLC comes out. Of course, that's the same day Resident Evil 7 comes out. So,
what is the holiday DC?
Oh man,
Holiday DC. The deal.
It is a temporary. If you downloaded that Moogle ticket, it is a temporary festival that's going to be going on in Altissia. And you can actually there's like an optional boss you can fight there. It's the fucking CEO of Square Enix. An optional boss, and apparently he's a super boss. No, dude, there's a trailer for it. Like he's got like the Armiger moves that Noctis has, kind of like the final boss. But I won't spoil on the podcast. But yeah, you can fight the CEO of Square. And you can teach him a lesson for Final Fantasy 13, I guess.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, but and it's limited time too, which is interesting. So it's not something that I don't know how long it's going to last, but that's kind of the interesting aspect of 15 going forward is that they're going to institute like limited time events, like limited time hunts and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
It's always a good way to bring people back to the game. You know?
Yeah.
What I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's a great way to keep it relevant.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
And apparently the game
interesting.
Is selling very well too.
That's good.
Yeah.
Over 6 million copies.
Well, so a little bit of clarification on that. The 6 million number is shipped and sold digitally. So no, it's not. It's not. I mean, that's what companies usually say. It's shipped as opposed to sold. The thing is that the initial shipment was 5 million plus digital, and then they shipped out an additional million. And generally, retailers don't order more stock unless that the original shipment is either sold out or is going to sell out. So I'm willing to bet that they cleared close to, if not all, that 5 million. So the game is selling incredibly well. It will probably end up passing Final Fantasy VIII on the all-time highest-selling Final Fantasy list. It will not reach 7, obviously. But then again, like 7 has sold like 15 million copies, but that's over many, many years, over many different platforms, over many different iterations. So there's no way it's touching that.
No.
Right. But the game is selling, and so that's clear. Taste me won't get, but the game is clearly not trash. So
No, it's not. I like at the beginning. I was kind of, for me, and I don't want to go on too much of a rant about the game, but because then we got some other topics to get to. And B1, we still got to get to you, but I think for me, like when as I got further along in the game, I'm kind of glad it started off the way it did, because it really made me appreciate kind of the struggle and the things that the group was going through as you progress further along the game. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I think because you see this friendship early on, and they're kind of just like hanging out and having a good time and kind of just shooting the shit, and then these things happen, these dramatic life events or these experiences that they go through together, and it makes the bond that much stronger. I think for the end user, for the person playing the game. So that was my takeaway from it. But B-Money, what are you playing right now, man?
I've been playing a lot of Overcooked with my wife.
good choice.
I don't have much time to play games this last week, so the few hours I had, I played Overcooked with my wife, and that's probably the most fun and frustrating thing to do, is to play a game like that with someone who's not really a gamer. And then the other game I've been playing is Tales of Zestiria, because Berseria comes out next week, so I'm trying to wrap that up.
Next week too?
Are you passing that up for? Are you passing Resident Evil 7 up for Berseria?
No, I'm not. No,
okay.
I'm actually buying 3 games in like 4 days or whatever. So Gravity Rush 2, Berseria, and Resident Evil 7 will all be owned by next week. So, but yeah, those are the only 2 games I've been playing. I have, like I said, I haven't had much time to play.
You're basically bringing Japan to your house.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Nice.
Yeah, the reviews from Gravity Rush 2 have been very, very, very positive.
I am going to tear through that motherfucker so I can write a review before Resident Evil 7 comes out.
Nice. I'm hearing 20 to 40 hours of gameplay.
For what Gravity Rush 2?
For Gravity Rush 2, yeah.
If you want to do everything, I'm sure. I want to get the campaign and some of the side stuff out of the way so I can get the review up. and then I can dive into Resident Evil 7 because I'm actually taking Wednesday off to play. I'm going to fucking destroy that game.
Nice. Now that game's
Very
what,
good.
10 hours long? Is that?
I've heard it varies from like 10 to 16.
Okay.
Was somebody else about to talk? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut anybody off.
12 to 15 is what I'm hearing
Okay.
from a lot of people who have their hands on it.
That's good.
I can't fucking wait.
It's going to be so good.
That impressions thread on Gaff is a dumpster fire.
Oh, is it really?
Dumpster fire, yeah.
I heard like people were earlier in the day I read that people were going kind of back, like you had like mixed reviews or thoughts of the game.
No, not really. You had one guy who didn't like the game and a bunch of people who did, but of course, the most frantic voices are always the loudest. So, oh, the game is shit. You know how it goes. Oh, the game is shit. Have you played it? Well, no. Oh, well, okay.
But someone told me it was shit.
Yeah, someone told me you did. Oh my god.
Don't even go in there, man.
What's that?
Don't even go in there.
Yeah. Oh, I thought he was talking to me. I was like, I don't know what
I did. I was talking.
Oh,
I was saying don't even go in there.
no, I was in there for a little while, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do it myself. I'm not gonna do this to myself. So I don't post much on Gaff anymore, anyway. So.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Yeah. Anything else, Big Money? In terms of games, man, you playing?
Nah, just those two, man, and getting ready for upcoming games I mentioned. So,
Dude, no NBA?
no, I set 2K down, man. I'm trying to knock off this backlog, man. It's like I said, like I mentioned before, the gaming season is upon us. You know what I mean? So
Right.
these back-to-back games, and then February hits us, and then March is Switch, and then April
God,
is
like,
Persona. It's
like
crazy.
spring is the new fucking holiday season.
It is.
Yeah, for real.
It is.
I love it.
Yeah, and I didn't like finish it. I guess after I was done with Final Fantasy, like I got like backlog paralysis, like because Sam asked me what was next, and I gave him a few, and then I sat there looking like through my game log, and I'm like, holy shit!
We're not even. Think about, dude. 2 weeks after Resident Evil 7, Nioh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
And I have heard some pretty amazing fucking things about Nioh.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Good shit. I mean, dude, you got Gravity Rush 2, Nioh, fucking Horizon Zero Dawn, Tales of Berseria, Mass Effect, fucking Andromeda. What else? You got fucking Injustice, Injustice 2,
Halo Wars 2.
Halo Wars 2,
Nier
Automata. Or you got the fucking Switch coming out. You got Zelda Breath of the Wild, Persona 5.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I supposed to do?
Yeah, so I'm actually
How am I supposed to do this?
I'm glad we're talking about this because this was actually one of the topics tonight. And we should, since we're on it, we'll talk about it before we get to Nintendo. But yeah, it's like Eric and I were talking about this the other day. It's like, holy shit! How are we gonna buy all these fucking games? I mean, it's insane.
Oh, I can buy them. It's just the time.
That's the thing. Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Although we all Shinobi, we all know though, dude. Like when Andromeda comes out, like life fucking stops for you. There's.
Dude, I'm not even exaggerating.
What's Andromeda? I'm joking.
Yeah, it's a galaxy far away. I'm gonna explore every nook and cranny of that game. I just soak it in. I'm gonna soak every pixel in. I'm gonna play with my Andromeda shirt on. I got a cap. I'm not even joking. I got my little I got all my ship models lined up next to me from Mass Effect. I'm ready, man. I've been waiting for this for half a decade.
Have you ever been this hyped for a game?
For the first Mass Effect, yes.
Okay, that's about it.
Yeah. For the very first one, because they first revealed it in 2005.
Yeah.
When Microsoft was doing these X events, like in Canada and things like that, for the 360. So they first revealed that, and I loved BioWare before then, like from Jade Empire to KOTOR, and I loved the other one, Neverwinter Nights.
Oh yeah, Neverwinter Nights.
Yeah, great game. So I loved them before that. So when I saw this fucking trailer out of nowhere in 2005, I was like 16, still in high school, and I'm like, holy shit, what the hell is this? This is like Star Trek or something, This is like a playable Star Trek from BioWare. I was like, yes, sign me up. So I my eyes were glued on every piece of media that came out from 2005 to release 2007. Like I was on everything. I joined the forums. I was talking to developers like from day one. I was all over it. So I was I can't even describe how hyped I was for that game. So when it came out,
And now you're friends with these developers, dude. It's fucking amazing.
I know. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
Works.
That's sometimes I won't say like when and what, but like I met some of them in person a few times and several times. And when I did for the first time, I got goosebumps. Like I was shaking.
Oh yeah,
Because I'm like, dude, like I told them straight up. I wasn't even embarrassed. I'm like, dude, I love you guys. I'm like, I love you guys. I'm like, you guys make some of the best experience I've ever had in my life. So I'm like, I shook their hands. I'm like, really? I'm like, thank you. And they got so like red, and like they're so humble and so they were great, man.
That's the beauty of video games, and that's what a lot of people don't get is that like I'm a 36-year-old man, right?
Yeah.
And my mother still to this day says, "I can't believe you still do this." And I'm like, "Mom, you just don't." I'm like, "Mom, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You just don't understand." Like I like.
John, I saw that T-shirt today, by the way.
Dude, this T-shirt's a jam. I picked it up at GameStop actually.
Yeah, that's where I saw it today. Yep.
But I was like, "Fuck that!" I was like, "That T-shirt's mine." But like that's really the lovely thing about video games is that I pity anybody who does not love them because they're really missing out on something special.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well said, man. That's so true. Yeah.
So
Shinobi, what's your favorite out of all the Mass Effects? Is it the first one then?
Yeah, it's the original. And it's not even like it's so hard for me to even answer that because I love all of them. I love them all to death. 1, 2, and 3. I don't care what anyone says about 3. Yeah, I was pissed at the ending too. The first time I played through it and I sat there afterwards, I'm like, no, I can't. That couldn't have been it. But
I love it.
Whatever. I got over it, and they patched in kind of like an extended cut, so that kind of helped, heal the wounds a little bit. But the rest of Mass Effect 3 was amazing, so I love that. But anyway, the first is my favorite because it's it was my introduction to that universe. It was the first time I ever, first time I ever laid my eyes on what the Citadel is. Explore the Citadel. The first time I found out like what a Spectre is or who the Asari are.
You never forget your first time.
Yeah. I never forget it. So. Or making fun of the Hanar, calling him a big stupid jellyfish. Like,
dude, that's the exact same reason. Like, I love hearing you say that because that's the exact same reason that Final Fantasy VI is still my favorite Final Fantasy. Like,
right.
are there Final Fantasies with better combat systems and better visuals and fleshed out characters? Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But what that game, when I play that game, what it does for me inside of here, considering. Because, dude, I've said it many times on this and Superform Gamescast. It's not even so much it's not the thing that you love. It's what was happening at that time in your life when it came along.
Exactly.
That really
true,
special, and so I completely understand.
Yeah, just like you said. I mean, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3 improved on the first one by a lot of ways. Combat and pacing and character they included a lot of new things mechanic wise, but it's just I don't care. It's just the first one. I mean, I do care, but I just the first one holds such a special place because of what, like you said, where I was at that time and the things surrounding it and just the feeling it gave me. Just the first time dropping me in this massive Milky Way galaxy. I mean, it was just beautiful. So I'll never forget it. So that's why it's special to me. So
I actually started my first Mass Effect experience was Mass Effect 2.
Right.
And I loved it so much I went back and played the first one.
Yeah, and you can tell, right? You can tell, I mean, how much clunkier it was, but it doesn't matter. It's just everything else was so good.
The story was so good.
Yeah, so that day I knew about the release date for so long for Andromeda. I've known about it for a long time, and every time someone would say, "Oh, this thing's never coming out," or "It's coming out in 2018," I'm like, no, we'll see. And and I agree with people because they haven't shown a lot of it. And like I said, I talked to them a lot, and there's a big marketing. They use the word bombardment, so there's a big marketing bombardment coming, planned for next month. So there's going to be like media and info like almost every day.
You see, and that's the reason that, like, people were like, oh, well, we haven't seen much of this game, and it's getting close to crunch time. And I'm like, BioWare is very similar. Like, John, aren't you worried about Andromeda? And I'm like, no, not really, because BioWare is like Naughty Dog. They don't put out bad products.
Nope.
Right.
They just don't. Like if you told me that, I mean, I don't live in a reality anymore where I would possibly be worried about the quality of a Naughty Dog game.
Exactly. Yeah.
Period. Yeah. And the same is with, but like I'm sitting here thinking about it. I cannot name a subpar BioWare game. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
The only one I hear from people and is obviously Dragon Age 2. Because a lot of people that, and there's context to that surrounding it. So I won't go into a lot of detail. I mean,
I like Dragon Age 2. I mean,
I did too. I liked it too. It was definitely, to me, it was a step back to Origins in a lot of ways. But the thing is, I know what happened around it. So
yeah, there was some development hell going on there, right?
Dude, EA. I mean, EA had deadlines to meet. They because of what the hell was it? I can't cite it all exact right now, but point is that EA literally gave them, about 14, 15 months to make the game.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and it was that right then and there, no ifs, ands, or buts. So what they were able to put out in that little time is actually, it's a miracle.
That's astounding, actually.
Yeah.
And that's, funnily enough, that's actually the same thing that happened in Final Fantasy 15. Like, even having given it 5 stars, like, I understand that there are sections of the game that could have been fleshed out better. That's beyond debate. And Square Enix was contractually obligated to have that game out.
Right.
Like they could not push it any farther legally.
Yeah.
Which is why you're going to see, like, for additional scenes with Ravis added in Chapter 13, because what else are they supposed to do? So I completely understand why BioWare had to do what they had.
Yeah. So barring that little hiccup because of the other things surrounding the development, and how much of an improvement Inquisition won over Dragon Age 2 because there were a lot more time. Even that had flaws, but still, it was a massive step up. So you can tell, it was obvious. But I'm not worried at all about, like, not even one bit about Andromeda. It has nothing to do with me being a BioWare fan or whatever. I'm even though I'm a huge BioWare fanboy, I can still look at it objectively. As a person, as a consumer. So it's not. I'm not worried about one bit because they've taken their time with it. They know exactly what makes Mass Effect. And they took a lot of great things from the trilogy. They took the the exploration and the discovery element of 1. They took, like, the depth of, like, the characters and that great cast of characters from 2, and they took, like, the combat, the improved combat from 3, and they just kind of, like, mashed it all up. It's going to be in a brand new galaxy, new characters. Took their time with it. It's been about over 4 years.
You got to stop, man.
Oh my god, I'm so hyped.
I'm telling you, and I can't say everything, but they're gonna show things. People haven't even seen how space travel works or the different types of worlds. There's so much they haven't shown at all. And people, I've seen scenes where the animation's already been improved and it looks incredible, and people are making fun of the animation from that one little trailer, that one little scene. And to give context to that real quick, I don't want to take up too much time, but to give context to that real quick was they wanted, you guys know what scene I'm talking about, right? Obviously.
Of course.
Yeah. They wanted to give the female writer some screen time because the male writer was given that before that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the thing is, she wasn't as far along as the male writer, as Scott writer. So, a lot of the animations were unfinished and they weren't, ready to be shown. But they want to do that just for fans to give Sarah Ryder some spotlight. And so that explains that. It's just, and that's what I was told by people working there. So I'm not even worried about it one bit. It's been improved since then. Internal reviews from what I've heard have been very good. So I'm ready.
Oh my god, I'm so hyped right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll show stuff soon.
So you said next month we'll start seeing some more average or.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and they have like a nice deep dive, like 12, 15-minute video prepped, showing like going from like your ship to like the down to your nomad down to like a planet, a little quest or something. So it's gonna be great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh my god, I'm so hyped. Game of the year.
If you really think about it, this is going to be a fucking insane year for games.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
Insane. I mean, think about just what we're getting this spring, and then let's fast forward to this fall, right? Destiny 2 is going to hit this year.
Yep.
Right. Like we're going to get Destiny 2 this year, and I think Bungie is going to give us something really special. I think they have to. Red Dead Redemption 2. Provided it doesn't get delayed.
Oh wait, never mind.
Dude, not cool.
Too early.
Too soon for that. But I guarantee you're going to get a great Forza game. You are probably going to get Crackdown 3, I would imagine. In fact, I've got it on really good authority that Crackdown 3 will come this year, and it's apparently doing much better than it was a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, aside from all the other games we just mentioned, and I'm calling it now, either Days Gone or God of War hits this year. One of the two.
I think Days Gone will.
I think it's gonna be God of War.
I think
it's gonna be God of War.
I could see that.
I mean, the game itself is playable from start to finish. Now, that doesn't mean a whole lot, but if you want to release it, if you want to make it, say, like a November release, make it and I think Sony really needs a first-party exclusive this fall. We've gone 3 years without a major AAA first-party exclusive, and I think they need it. I think the time is right. I think they're right, and we actually saw. I feel like the gameplay we saw for God of War last year was, one, a lot more than anybody would have anticipated, and two, it seemed more put together and complete than what we saw from Days Gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think God of War hits. I could be wrong, but I think God of War hits this fall.
But John, it would make sense if you think about. I mean, obviously that's a time of year where a lot of the heavy hitters hit, a lot of the third-party. Big AAA titles hit, and if there's a title that could go up against those big titles, it would be God of War. I don't think you'd want to put a new title up against, some of the heavy hitters of the fall or holiday. I don't think they'd want to do that, but who knows?
Yeah, they've been working on that for a while.
Hold on, I'm tweeting something, guys. So, Jesus Christ, you guys know this fucking right? You guys know that fucking that article I tweeted out earlier.
The pie chart?
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
yes,
somebody's trying to be smart on Twitter, and I'm like, dude, reverence is not the fucking word you use here. I don't know how to fucking spell it out for you. So I just want to give real quick some context to what I'm saying. This dude says, the fact that you don't know what reverence means in that context is pathetic. Are you even educated? I doubt it. And I says, no, I'm educated, Chief, and I'm telling you that reverence is not the word you use here. And then he says this. Did you go to college? I doubt it. It's a big deal to win NPD, and it elevates your brand, which is reverence. Dude. That's not what fucking reverence is. That's not what fucking reverence is. Reverence is when you hold something in esteem in a religious manner.
Oh my goodness.
That's not fucking you're thinking of relevance. You dipshit. You are a dipshit. Oh my god, people fucking amaze me. I love people and I hate them at the same time. I'm just like, sweet Jesus. So I retweeted it, and if somebody could help this poor soul, please.
John, it's not going to happen. He's beyond.
Somebody give this guy a basic English class, please, or a vocabulary class. Jesus Christ.
He's beyond help at this point.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. Well, John, let's
by himself.
Yeah, let's transition over to Nintendo. So I think everyone here on the panel saw Thursday's Nintendo's event for the Nintendo. I almost called the NX Nintendo Switch, and we got to see what Nintendo's bringing to the table with the Switch. Looks like they're doubling down on
or not see.
What's that?
Or not see.
Or not see. Yeah. Looks like they're doubling down on motion control again. I mean, we saw that with the Joy-Con demonstrations. It's interesting. It almost looks like they've taken like everything from previous Nintendo consoles and put this into one and into the Switch.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you have what Nintendo's done well with handheld portable gaming. You have that with the Switch. You have the controllers, the motion controllers, which we have the Wii. It's everything tied into one controller. Everything Nintendo's done, like you said, Frankenstein. But Shinobi, since you're the guest tonight, we're gonna throw this over to you. And what were your impressions of the Nintendo Switch press conference?
Man, I was looking forward to it a lot. I was really looking forward to it because, I coming off the Wii and the Wii U. I wasn't into the Wii because I didn't care about motion controls and all that junk. The Wii U didn't grab me at all either because the software drought was a big turnoff for me, and the gamepad, I wasn't really into the gamepad. I just thought it was pointless. They did a few games that utilized it, but after that it was no one really cared about it anymore. So I was this whole time I was hankering. I'm like, okay, give me a nice traditional Nintendo system. Just give me a nice traditional controller and let me play some nice Nintendo games in HD on my TV. And just let me have a good time. And so I was looking forward. I knew what the Switch was. Obviously, they had that reveal trailer, but so I said, okay, that's cool. I could use that dock, whatever, and play on my TV. So I'm like, okay, cool. So looking forward to start. The conference is starting. And I was watching it, and number one, the format was incredibly dry to me, at least. I saw people saying, "Oh, it was great." They did good. It was a good presentation. I'm like, did we watch the same thing? Because the
translation to that one.
It was so dry. I was bored to tears. The way they were announcing things. I don't know, man. They weren't showing like gameplay at all. They showed like a trailer or two for some games, trailers. But I'm like, where's the? Let me see like some nice gameplay demos. Where are all the new games? They announced. They announced like. So, here's where I'm at. Number one, I think the price is a little too high. $299 for me is too high. I thought it was gonna be like $249. Number two, the games, like the launch lineup, there's only 5. Are you fucking kidding me? Even if Zelda's there, what else am I gonna play? I'll beat Zelda in like a week.
1-2 Switch.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
And now maybe we could switch to so it gets better. Did you guys hear about the what's making the rounds right now about the old Nintendo Switch?
Are we talking about the smartphone app?
No, not just no. So hold on. So the Switch matchmaking in lobbies will also be handled through a phone app.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Reggie came out and said that today, and I think Shinobi.
What are you doing, Nintendo?
Yeah. But no, it's basically a smartphone app they're creating, and I'll read this here. They put out a statement. The smartphone app that we're creating that will be part of our online service, we believe is going to be a very compelling part of the overall proposition because that's how you'll voice chat. That's how you'll do your matchmaking, create your lobby. We also think it's a very elegant solution because if you're taking your Switch on the go,
elegant.
Yeah, all right. you put yourself in a hotspot. You're looking to get a quick match of Mario Kart in to about some sort of bulky gamer headset is a bit of a challenge.
Bulky.
So we think we got an elegant solution. That's a very specific answer to your question. So this is today. This is from Nintendo. And I'm sorry, John. Go ahead, man. You were going to say something. You're shaking your head and.
I like how he says bulky, like as if like having a headset is some calamity, like you can't handle it, like no one wants this bulky headset. How are you gonna play like that? What are you talking about? Oh my God.
Well, Shinobi, I saw you on Twitter going back and forth with someone who was defending Nintendo not having the headset jack of the
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That's not standard. What are you guys talking about?
I couldn't believe it. He's like, and then I'm like, dude, a headset jack probably costs like $2 to include a controller. I'm like, having a headset jack, and controllers. I mean, it's standard nowadays. Like the Xbox One has it, the PS4 has it. He's like, do you even know what standard means? Like 2 consoles having it, it's not standard. I'm like, okay, these are it's standard now because these consoles have done it, so now it's standard. And he's like, well, it was like PS3 and the Wii and the 360, the PS3 and the Wii didn't. I'm like, yeah, that was like a decade ago.
Neither did the Atari 2600, and
and then he's like, well, he's like, why don't you, what do you say? He's like, you're playing. Why don't you just use your TV speakers? I'm like, well, I'm not kidding, man. I'm like, okay, how am I gonna respond to this?
Why don't you get up and change the TV yourself? Don't use.
I told him, I'm like, well, I like to play at night when my kids are asleep. That's the only time I can really play. So I like to use my headphones. And he's like, well, he's like, hey, let me tell you, TVs have this thing called, the legend says they have a thing called a remote. It helps to turn the volume down. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
I'm like, so now you're telling me, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, playing games with the volume muted sounds like a ton of fun, man.
Oh my God.
That's just anything to defend it. I'm like, what? Just think a little bit. So, this chat lack of headset, using a phone app to chat. What else is there? Oh my God, that Nintendo Online. Gracious Nintendo is gracing us with one NES or Super Nintendo game a month. And then they're gonna take it back at the end of the month. You don't own it. You're renting it.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I'm like, so you guys literally, you saw what your competition is doing. Xbox, PlayStation, they're doing, they're pleasing people for the most part. They're giving away 2, 3, 4 games a month, 5, sometimes 5 if you have like a PS3, Vita, and PS4. And they're giving away, and you can keep them. I'm like, so your solution is to give these 20, 30-year-old games away that are probably like 5 megabytes, not even, temporarily for a month, and then you take it back. I'm like, how is this compelling? There's that, and like I said, with the lineups, like Zelda's coming at launch. There's that. That's it. No one's really no one's caring about 1-2 Switch and whatever else there. I don't know. There's
ARMS.
Well,
and then the next major release, and I say major in quotes, the next major release is almost 2 months later, and it's Mario Kart 8, and it's a port.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so where I'm at right now is I'm waiting for this holiday because I like the Switch. I think the hardware is nice. I like the look of it, and I'm going to be playing on my TV. I'm not going to be playing it handheld because I don't have that kind of lifestyle anymore. I drive to work, so I'm not going to play it handheld mode. Not really much. So I'll just wait till this holiday, and there'll probably be some nice bundles. And hopefully, the Super Mario Odyssey will be out. I'll pick up Zelda, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe Xenoblade 2 will be out. So maybe, like Eurogamer said, maybe Pokemon Stars. A nice console Pokemon. So that'd be great. I'd love that. So that's what I'll just wait for the holiday and see where I'm at then.
Hopefully, there aren't any shortages the holiday.
Yeah, we'll see. They might artificially do that. I don't know what they're gonna
do. Yeah. It's I read that today about the phone app thing, and I'm thinking to myself, why couldn't they just combine both? Do both? Like have the phone app as an option if you're going outside or you're not docked into the station or anything like that. Why not do that? Why not do both? Because doing both would just take what Nintendo or Xbox and PlayStation are already doing and building upon that. Giving gamers options, and I don't understand why they didn't do that.
Well, for them, doesn't kind of sound like it's an easy way for us not to have to build infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, no, it is.
I'm not. I'm saying that's not a good thing. That's not a good reason. It's because it seems to be like, even from the Wii U, Nintendo gives you the excuse as to why you don't need something. Because like when it came to Mario Kart, he's like, you should be able to go into Mario Kart 8 and talk a lot of crap with your friends and joke around and goof, but you can only do that in the lobby.
Yeah.
And then like I think it was even like Splatoon, there's no way to like find or group up with your teams or your groups or whatever. You have to do all that through mobile anyway. So I don't know. That's a little bit of horseshit for me.
So here's the thing, like, it's almost like I have never seen a company as tone deaf as the whole fucking conference. Like, I'm like, I want to love this thing. Why don't you want me to love it?
Right.
Like, here's the thing. The tech is compelling enough to where I'm in day one, right? Like, I'm going to get one. I'm going to get a fucking Switch. I am. I'm going to get it day one. I got it pre-ordered.
Oh, John.
Nintendo is not doing a good job of reassuring me that my pre-order is an intelligent one. I went into this conference thinking that Nintendo would have learned the lessons of the past, would have learned the lessons of the Wii U, but you really have to wonder who is making the decisions.
Yeah.
It's 2017. You're launching a console with no Ethernet port, with basic functions and features that the competition has had since 2004.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's 2017. What fucking console doesn't have native voice chat?
Yeah, that's just.
What console doesn't have? What the? Am I taking fucking crazy pills?
No, and no Ethernet port, but yet you're going to have a pay online service.
Keep your phone charged. I don't fucking
keep your phone charged.
Wait a minute. Hold on. It doesn't have an Ethernet port?
No,
it
doesn't.
But the Wii U didn't either.
You could buy one separately, though.
But here's the thing.
Wait, B-Money, it's an add-on?
Yeah, you can use the one that they have for
Of course you can.
for the Wii U, or you can buy one separately.
$70 controllers.
Yeah, that's
$80 controllers.
It's the tech.
And people are like, well, the Xbox Elite cost $129. I'm like, this isn't the fucking Xbox Elite. This is not the Elite controller.
It also has more tech in it than a standard controller. This is what I'm trying to make people understand.
What am I missing? What am I missing?
Standard controller.
But hey,
does your standard controller have HD Rumble? No, it does not. It does not have that same tech.
Hey, it's got
just like Nintendo started the standard with the D-pad, with the analog stick, with the triggers. They started those standards. You know what I mean? So they are going to be the ones to start the standard with HD Rumble. And I guarantee the next console that comes out beyond the PS5, maybe even the PS5, they will have HD Rumble. Those features will be in their controller. I guarantee you it's going to cost you $70.
That's a good point.
Who started the standard? Who put the D-pad on the controller first? Nintendo. Who put the trigger on the controller first? Nintendo. Who put the analog stick on the controller first? Nintendo. Who put the rumble in first? Nintendo. Nintendo started all of these trends, and guess who followed?
Who made everybody go motion?
Nintendo. They started all this shit. They're the oldest ones in the game. And of course, yes, they still have the old Japanese mindset, and that's why they don't do stuff like the consoles that we have now, the Xbox One and PS4. Yes, they're still old, even though the guy died. You know what I'm saying? And he's not at the helm anymore. They still are old school, so they're still going to They're still going to make some silly ass mistakes.
The thing that
they're the ones who start the trends, and people follow. It's in the history. Its proof is in the pudding.
Well, I mean, they started the Wii U gamepad. No one followed that, and they started. I mean, the motion gaming kind of died for the most part. But anyway, the thing that irks me the most is just like what's the software on the Switch. It looks incredible. Like, I think Zelda looks amazing.
It does.
It really I'm not even like a huge Zelda fan. I haven't even beaten a Zelda yet. Like before, I've played a bunch of them. It's just they never like grab me, but not in a bad way. It's just like how I said before. I kind of like didn't allot the time to go through them all because they're long ass games and they can get confusing, and you get lost a lot. And so, I think they're great games. So, Breath of the Wild looks amazing. I think it looks incredible. That trailer kind of sold me. I really want to play it, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not even a big Zelda fan. And Super Mario Odyssey, I don't know what anyone else is saying. I've heard people saying, "Oh, it doesn't look great," and looks weird with the world. Like, I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but this looks incredible to me.
I like that. I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah, it's cool because it's intentional. You got a cartoon Mario character running around in a real world kind of looking environment. So it's like intentional. It's like a clash of art, and a lot of the other levels look amazing. And I know Nintendo's gonna bring it. If Pokemon comes there, like that's what I'm saying. Like all this stuff looks fantastic, and I really want it. So it's just they're like all this great stuff is like it's to get to it, you got to go through all this other shit. And that's why, like, Nintendo fans don't like hearing this, but I'm like, dude, Nintendo, just go third party. Seriously, I want to play your games. Just without all the bullshit. So I don't know. I'm gonna get a Switch eventually, and I hope it takes off because I don't want Nintendo to go anywhere. I want them to stay around. It's good for the industry. So I hope it takes off.
Yeah. B Money, what do you think of the price, man? You think it's too much?
Well, I initially thought it was going to be like around 300. I thought 250 was a sweet spot. I thought they should have hit 250 just so they could, really kind of compete and at least say that they're at a lower price point than the standard MSRP for the other consoles. I think launching at 300 is a mistake, but you can't pre-order it anywhere right now. So
yeah, so I mean,
we got to see.
Point.
Yeah.
But
I play devil's advocate here. I think 300 it's a little bit high for that console, but I also understand that I also look at it a little bit differently too. I also know that it's kind of a combination of it's a hybrid of a home console and a portable device too. And what are the 3DS runs now? What are they, like $200 or something?
I think you get them cheaper than that now.
The new 3DS is $200.
Yeah. So but yeah, I mean, but then again, if you compare it to an Xbox One S or a PlayStation 4,
right?
The argument could be made that is probably overpriced. I could see that. So, Sam, you haven't chimed in yet, man, about the Nintendo conference. What'd you think?
I tried to stay awake throughout all of it. I was one of the ones saying, the price of the controllers was an issue. I've kind of withdrawn my statement on that. I get it. Even if, now here's the thing though, there's a difference between there being a lot of tech in them and that tech actually meaning anything. That's one thing.
Right.
I mean, frankly, I'd like to see games besides ARMS and 1-2 Switch for the applications of the HD Rumble and the motion controls and things like that. And a lot of reviewers are already saying that if you are playing on your TV or whatever, you basically have to have a pro controller if you want to play Zelda comfortably. That the Joy-Cons aren't really comfortable for those of us with extremely large hands.
John, I heard you say that in your live stream on Super Deforms Gamescast. When you guys did the stream of the conference, you said
you talking about the podcast that goes live every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember you saying that though. Like you're like,
twice.
Yeah, you're like, how am I supposed to hold this controller? My hands are big.
I got big hands, ladies.
Oh,
but no, in all seriousness, like I have actually heard that the Joy-Cons are quite comfortable to hold. So like I mean, it's the thing is like Nintendo doesn't make shitty hardware. They don't. And the Switch looks like a premium product. It does.
It does.
Well, I take that back. The Wii Pad is trash, or the Wii U. But having said that, I've got to get going. But real quick, before I go, I'm like trying not to sneeze right now. Please do not forget to watch Super Deformed Gamescast every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm trying not to sneeze in your podcast, man. I'm trying so hard. It's going to be like a volcanic explosion if this happens. But I also, real quick, wanted to point out to the people in chat who may not watch this on the regular that we will be attending PAX East this year as members of the press. And so we will be doing a live podcast from the show floor with the rest of our podcast mates who won't be able to make it. And I also on Friday, which is the first day of PAX, I will be sitting on a panel with Susan Arndt and Kyle Orland, among others. Susan Arndt, of course, of Games Radar, and Kyle Orland of Ars Technica. I will be representing the gaming community in a panel dealing with hatred in the gaming community. It's called Hate is the Hobby. How did we get here? And just talking about hatred and intolerance within the gaming community, which anybody who knows me, that's something that is very important to me. Trying to combat stuff like that, trying to combat racism and intolerance and hatred throughout our community. So please, if you're going to be in the area or if you're going to PAX, please keep an eye out for that because I will be on the panel.
Nice.
So
It's great.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yep. But anyway, Shinobi, dude, it's awesome to hang with you again, man.
Yeah. As always, same here.
It's been too long. I got fucking all kinds of nastiness leaking out of my nose now.
Nice.
Go sneeze, man.
Anyway, guys, it's always a pleasure. So I got to leave early, but I'm just fucking wiped.
No worries, man.
But
It's all good, man.
I'll be back next week, and like I said, I'm taking Wednesday off, and I will have plenty to talk about in regards to Resident Evil 7 and Gravity Rush. So,
All right, man. Awesome, man.
There you go.
Look forward to it.
Nice.
all right, gentlemen.
All right, John.
Man.
Have a good one, man.
Sam, I'm sorry, Sam. We kind of interrupted you. You were giving us some of your thoughts on the Nintendo Switch.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is, it's like I understand there's a lot of new tech and things like that, which that's awesome. But the Wii U promised new tech and new ways to play.
Mhm.
The Wii took off because it hit with a very, 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 very different demographic that bought into it. Wasn't the gaming market. Not really. Not if we're being honest with ourselves. So I'm concerned. And that's not what I like saying because I wanted them to sell me on a Switch.
Uh-huh.
I wanted that conference to convince me to try and grab a pre-order.
Yeah.
But it didn't. I have no doubt that Zelda will be a phenomenal game. It'll probably be a Game of the Year contester in some aspects. I mean, seriously, it looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
I haven't heard a bad impression about it. But that's one game.
Yeah.
And then, looking at what they're doing with the new tech with Switch, 1-2 Switch, God, I sound so stupid saying it. And then ARMS, and then, the Mario Kart coming is just a port, and then Smash evidently is sort of kind of leaked, but we don't actually know when it's coming or what the details are, and just there's so many backwards design decisions. It's a very, very long-winded way of me saying, I don't know. I'll wait and see.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it's so I pre-ordered it because I have a 7-year-old and he's really hyped for the Nintendo Switch and Zelda, and we didn't get him a 3DS because of the Switch. My concern is, and it's always been with Nintendo, like what they come out with, so Zelda's coming out, right? Everyone's going to get that. A couple other games coming out, but then what else happens after that? We're gonna have droughts.
Right.
I know Mario Kart 8's coming out in April, but then what else? What else is coming in between that?
Yeah, and then they had they had like Skyrim coming in the summer for full price. I'm like, you're insane.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the price points? I mean, these are $60 games.
Well, 1-2 Switch is $50.
Oh, is it 50?
Yeah, I think
I just don't expect anything less because for them, the way that they look at it for the business, this is a new platform for them. You know what I mean? You couldn't play Skyrim on the old Nintendo console. So if you're new to the console, guess what? You're going to pay $60 if you want to play Skyrim. You know what I mean? So I understand it from a business standpoint, but as a consumer, I would never pay $60 to
The
play
thing is
play
that
Skyrim.
that Skyrim, I mean, people are going to look at that. I mean, I don't know how many people are even going to buy that thing. I mean, Skyrim on Switch or even FIFA. I'm like, this thing's probably going to sell like 1,000 copies, and that's it. Like, that Skyrim's going to come out, and I bet you the retailers are going to be pushing the special edition on Xbox One and PS4 for probably a quarter of the price. The game, I mean, so all these things combined, I'm like, I really don't see a lot of compelling reasons in a lot of these things, but we'll see. I mean, they proved everyone wrong with the Wii. Everyone laughed that thing off when they first showed it. I did too. When I first saw those remote controllers,
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is this? I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, what is it, a TV remote? I'm like, what is this?
That's what it.
Yeah, so, and they just blew everyone away. So you never count Nintendo out, ever.
No, you're right. You can't. You can't.
Yeah.
And they're going back to the motion. You can tell that they're going after those casual gamers again.
They're trying to attract everybody. Is what they're doing. They got those for the casual crowd and the ones that that were attached with the Wii, and they're trying to appeal to the more core, with the more traditional games and the Pro controller, and you can hook it up to your TV and play a nice high definition. So they're trying to meet everyone's demands with it. So I don't know. We'll see what the end result is. I like I said, I think the Switch hardware looks great. I want it to succeed. I want Nintendo to succeed because I like them as a company overall. I love their IPs, and they've been a large part of my life. So many others too, I'm sure. So.
Oh yeah,
I'm in the same position. Like I have my Wii U. People hated on it, but dude, I love my Wii U.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward as my daughter gets older. Like, she already knows Mario. She's 2.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you?
Exactly.
I think we said on the podcast before. Okay, you may know Master Chief, you may know Nathan Drake, but everybody knows Mario.
Yep.
Nobody's looking at a theme park for a Halo ride. That could be cool, but no one's going to do a theme park around, Uncharted or Halo or something like that.
Right.
They have the most recognizable IPs. I just don't want them to get in their own way. Like, I know they have their principles. I know they have their way of doing things, and they are a traditional Japanese company, but they do have to realize that the strength is right now in the West as far as, where a lot of gaming focus goes now.
Right.
But when I look at the Switch, I know they're trying to cater to the mobile market, which is very strong in Japan where the console market isn't, but they're also trying to still capture the West. And it's almost like you have to kind of figure out where you really, really want to be, where you really want to focus. And the Switch kind of seems like it's trying to teeter on both worlds. I'm going to get one. I'm not getting one day one because, I was telling the guys, I'm trying to buy a house. So right now trying to convince the wife, I need this console when we're trying to buy a house. That just doesn't work. But so yeah, I'm like Shinobi. I'll be looking around holiday to kind of see a better roadmap, when I need to jump in, strongly jump in,
Yeah.
And I do want to play the best version of, Zelda, which obviously is going to be on the Switch, but, sometimes those sacrifices have to be made. So it'll be there when I'm ready for it.
Yeah, but hey guys, so I'm gonna have to hop off. If that's okay with you guys.
No, not a problem.
Yeah.
No worries, man.
Got to put my little one to bed, so he was at the in-laws. So it was great talking to you guys. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Great.
great having you on, man.
Good
Absolutely.
to finally get to talk to you.
Yeah, it's always good to have you on.
Hopefully we'll do it again real soon, huh?
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah,
Definitely
Definitely.
have you back on and talk some video games with you, man. Thank you again, man. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. All right, you guys have a good one, guys.
All right,
You
man.
too,
See
man.
you.
Too.
Take care.
All right.
Yeah, so while I do question some of the moves, but at the end of the day, yeah, I'm still excited by the new tech. I'm still excited to kind of see where it goes. The software is definitely the question. And the thing, Kimishima said, before the launch, he said, we're holding off because we want to make sure that the launch lineup is stellar. And I'm like, okay, well, why did you hold off? I don't really think that launch lineup is stellar.
It's not.
It's not. But you also I look at it like this. If you look at traditional Zelda games, they never really hit the peak that everybody thinks that they do. Everybody thinks oh, Zelda is this massive success, and it's not. The game sell well or whatever the case is, but they don't sell like Mario games. And
No,
they probably don't sell as good as maybe some of the old Donkey Kong games and things like that. Zelda is a juggernaut, but it doesn't compete with Mario. So
no, it doesn't. No.
I think for them, releasing it in the first half of the year, and releasing it with such a short lineup, putting a marquee title like Zelda there was smart, just because you have that great attachment rate. You probably have 85 to 90% of people who buy a Switch at that time are going to buy Zelda. So
because it happened with Twilight Princess on Wii.
Right. So if you the first half of the year, let's just say up until Mario Kart comes out, Anybody who buys a Switch up until that time is buying Zelda. And I think it's smart for them to do that and not, put Zelda in the holiday season where, they couldn't launch with Mario. And I think launching with Mario, which, like you just mentioned, is such an iconic IP, and by that time you may see some bundle. You might see 1-2 Switch bundle. You know what I'm saying, with the Switch or whatever the case is for a holiday season, and then you have this iconic IP that kind of is the massive juggernaut. So when it's going up against Xbox One and the Scorpio and PS4 during the holiday season, you still have this big 3D Mario game that we haven't seen since the Wii, since Galaxy 2. You know what I mean? So like it gives them a little bit of respect during the holiday, and people may actually look to pick up a Switch at that time. So it gives them mind share for a holiday, and I think it's kind of smart the way that they did it. I definitely think there should have been more games releasing with the console, but I think positioning the games the way that they did was smart.
Well, I am questioning that Bomberman price, if that is going to truly be the price, because that to me seems like that will be that game, if not a pack-in game. That game should be maybe priced around like 40.
I would even say it should be 29.
Okay, I can go with that. I can go there with you, just to be that attractive, like title. But it's like, and no pack-in. Usually, I mean, the Wii had Wii Sports. That was the thing that kind of was like the Trojan horse into people's homes. And that was the thing that got everybody talking. It wasn't necessarily just the Wii. It was like that Wii Sports thing was like insane.
Yeah, it was like a fun party game too for everyone.
Yeah, I don't see 1-2 Switch being that.
No.
Even if they packed it in, but I think that's the thing that's missing too.
Yeah, I definitely think they should have had a packing game. I think snipper clips is kind of like flying under the radar, and I think that could be yes, but
I have words on my laptop.
It's not one. But I think snipper clips is kind of like flying under the radar, and I think like that could be like the good like co-op game, and I think they should push that more. Because I think that's the eShop game, or something like $20 or whatever, and that could have been like the pack-in game where you're actually showing the value of having the two different controllers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas you have no pack-in game, and pretty much everybody's going to buy Zelda and may feel forced to buy a Pro controller at that point. So then instead of just spending the $360 for the Switch and the game, you also spend another $70 to get a better feeling controller, and at that point you're at $400, and you could have got an Xbox One or PS4 or whatever the case is in a couple games. So there's definitely different things that they could have did, but we got to just see how it plays out.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the long game, like because you were saying a minute ago that you can't find a pre-order, but that's usually how it goes with the hardcore. They're going to snatch them up, but that long game, see how the casual market kind of embraces it, because again, that's who matters.
Right.
Yeah. They're the biggest consumer group.
Yeah.
Gaming. Yeah. People forget about that sometimes.
Yes, and I think having the staggered launch of like you hit them with Zelda, and a month and a half later you have Mario Kart, and then you have the new IP in ARMS, and a lot of people are down to ARMS. I think ARMS is cool, especially since you don't have to like play with the motion controls. You can play with a standard controller. It has like that arcade feel to me, like if you ever played like the old Rated Rumble games or I mean like anything like that. It's just like goofy fun, you know what I mean? Like I think that could be cool. And then you have like Splatoon 2, which a lot of people thought it was just going to be like a port over. So this is a second addition to the franchise. And then you go into holiday season with Mario. They've said that they still have other games that haven't been announced or whatever the case is. I'm sure that like Smash Bros will be announced sometime at E3. So I think they have it planned out correctly. We just have to see how they execute the rest of the year. I think like Xenoblade is a good game. I think if they announce like a Monster Hunter or some Pokemon game, they showed off Fire Emblem Warriors today, and a new Fire Emblem game coming next year. So they're doing small things to kind of get a lot more people interested in the console. A lot of indie developers are coming out saying that they're putting their games on Switch. there's this one in particular State of Mind that looks like super dope. Can't wait to check that out. And then like other games like I Am Setsuna and like Rhyme and things like that. Those are like games I think would like be perfect for people to just like download, take on the go, and can pick up and play for a couple minutes and set it down. So it'll be interesting to see how they play out the rest of the year, and what they continue to announce as it goes. Like they sprinkle out a little bit of information and don't give you like full details. And like Reggie's like, oh, just stay tuned. Like I wish they just had like a full information blowout so we knew what was going on, and it'd be a lot easier for people to understand what they're doing.
Yeah, it's a great point, man. It really is. You mentioned some of those indie games. I could definitely see myself playing a lot of those indie games on the Switch, like on the go. I could totally see myself doing that, taking the Switch to work, putting in some time in some of those games at lunch.
Yeah.
I could do that. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So we're gonna transition out of Nintendo Switch, unless anyone else wants to chime in. No.
I think we've said what can be said.
Yeah. But let's talk about. We're gonna go back to some game related topics, some news more recently. And I think Sam, you tweeted this in the Brap DM about Resident Evil 7.
Yes.
For the Xbox One?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
you want me to take that?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so basically it is the first AAA third-party game to get Xbox Play Anywhere support. Technically speaking, Infinite Warfare did come to the Windows Store, but it was terribly received and it wasn't Play Anywhere. It's a separate version, walked away from everything else per Activision for some weird reason. Evidently that was an Activision ruling, not allowing crossplay, but who knows? But Resident Evil 7, especially because I think it's going to be awesome. I'm with John on that. I think it's going to take off. And it's going to be a phenomenal return to form with a little bit of new direction for the series. The fact that they're supporting that, and I'm a huge Play Anywhere advocate, is a very big deal, because if this game is successful, you can guarantee that other third parties are going to start jumping on this and saying, oh, okay, well, wait a minute, we might bring in more gamers this way,
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a big deal.
No, I agree. I think it's a great option too to give to gamers, and I hope other developers follow suit. I've always said I always thought it was a great feature to have, because again, anytime you can give gamers the options to experience content a different way, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So we'll see what happens. I think we're all picking up Resident Evil 7 at launch. Yes, no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Eric?
I haven't decided if it's going to be launched because, again, I had backlog paralysis. So
He's picking it up in launch. Don't worry, he'll get it.
Yeah, I kind of told Sam that. I was like, right now I'm saying no, but then I know everyone's going to be talking, and that hype train's going to hit me.
Let me tell you something, man. I got a $25 Xbox Live card.
You should give it to me so I can get the game.
Yeah.
You baller.
Yeah. I also have a $50 GameSpot or GameStop gift card I got for my birthday. Yeah, so
Nice.
I'll be using that for Gravity Rush 2. Yeah, you know what game we didn't mention earlier that's coming out too is Yakuza 0.
Yep. Comes out next week as well.
Yeah, and I've heard good thing. Now I haven't played. Have I played? No. Maybe I did. Maybe I played on the PlayStation 2. Maybe the first Yakuza. I don't remember. I may have played one of them. But it sounds Yakuza 0, from what I've read, got really good reviews in Japan when it came out.
Yeah.
So I've heard people kind of compare it to Shenmue, but I can't compare anything to Shenmue. That's just can't do that. Shenmue is just, to me, is just on another level. But so then we also had let's see what else happened in gaming related news. Looks like Ubisoft picked up. Shoot, what was it?
Oh, you talking about DJ Hero thing?
Yeah, DJ Hero from Activision. No, they picked up. They acquired DJ Hero from Freestyle Games from Activision, and I don't know, man. I never played DJ Heroes. I played Guitar Hero, but I never really.
DJ Hero was a cool game. It's going to be interesting to see what Ubisoft does with it, because they have their yearly Just Dance game.
Yeah.
So I hope like they don't saturate the market with it, but I think Ubisoft does like some cool stuff with their game. So it'll be interesting to see what they actually do with it, and if they try to come out with another peripheral, or if they just try to use standard controls or whatever the case is.
Yeah, they sold a turntable with that game.
Yeah, they did. So that'll be interesting. Ubisoft, they're known to take the risk, man. They're one of the only third-party publishers that's like pumping out something new all the time. You know what I mean? And a lot of people complain about like, saturated franchises and things like that. They continue to drop a new IP all the time. So it'll be interesting to see what they actually do with that.
That's a very good point, because you know what game we're forgetting?
What's that?
For Honor. That's February 14th.
Yeah, For Honor too.
Another game. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean,
I would stay away from Best Buy.
it's crazy. This is probably the craziest first half of the year that we've had ever. Probably, you know what I mean? Like this amount of like games that are actually worth buying.
I can't remember a time so early in the year where we've had this much content. I mean, we said earlier we're having all this software that's coming, all this new content, and then also we have a new console launching in March.
Yeah,
insane.
This year is like beastly.
I tell you what, if Best Buy does a buy two get one free, I'm going to be upset. If they do it the next couple weeks, I'm going to be upset because I'm going to go out and spend money I don't want to spend and be even more backlogged and feel guilty.
And we still got the second half of the year, man. There's still big games that aren't out yet.
Yeah.
So,
oh my god,
we still don't know what else Microsoft has up their sleeve to release. The end of the year. CFDs is still coming.
That's right, CFDs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's speaking of, I have to say, it was really cool, and I hope it means something really, really big. To hear Phil say this is the first year for Xbox that it's not being led by Gears or Halo.
Yes,
like
I was so happy to say that.
Yeah, and I won't say that tweet flew under the radar. I mean, obviously it did, and people retweeted and talked about it, but that's a really key thing to say.
Right. It speaks to confidence in whatever they're bringing.
Yeah, and hopefully that's exactly what it translates into.
I hope
and
so,
it's not like, any kind of letdowns at E3,
Yeah.
I still think there needs to be some message before now in E3, because that is still like a long ways off, but it is exciting. But it is exciting to know that hopefully there's some new IP coming. There's some chances that are going to be taken, and it's not just going to be relying upon, more Halo, more Gears, or something like that.
Well, we talked about.
Yeah, go ahead, Enrique.
Go ahead, man.
I was gonna say the way that he put out the tweet, it made it seem like they were revisiting old IPs, and we may see maybe a rebranding of old IPs, which would be super interesting to me, because we talked to Ken Lobb maybe 2 years ago now, and we talked about maybe doing a Perfect Dark and third person, and just some of the old like rare IPs that have just been tucked away. So it'll be interesting to see what they actually reveal, because they got a back catalog of IPs that are just chilling. You know what I mean? So
we've talked about Rare last week.
I believe I saw Phil mention in a tweet that he wants to see MechAssault come back.
Yep,
they still hold the IP to that.
Yeah, I could definitely see that coming back too.
Yeah, bring back MechAssault. I'd also like to see them bring back some old school Rare content. I feel like that's been missing for such a long time. They haven't. We talked about this last week, where I feel like they really haven't utilized Rare to their potential.
No.
They threw them on the Kinect, and I still can't believe they did that. But
could you imagine what a Jet Force Gemini would look like now? You know what I mean? Like what they could actually do with that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Well, absolutely. I'd MechAssault would work for me. I'd be up for that. I think speaking of Phil Spencer tweets, I thought he tweeted something out too that he had recently played Crackdown 3.
Yeah.
And it was like, I guess from what he's played, it's the best experience he's had in the series so far.
Yes, he did say that. He also said that basically, if you kind of read between the lines a little bit on a couple of other tweets and some tweets from Shannon Loftus and a couple of other heads, it looks like the cloud tech is finally working the way they want it to.
Nice.
Which is a big deal. If that actually works out, then that's pretty big.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I mean, how long have we been waiting for cloud? You know, that was a big selling point for them.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like we haven't heard about anything cloud related in a long time.
Cloud got killed by power.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. Power is the narrative right now.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah. So, we'll talk about this real quick. This will be the last topic this evening. Looks like there was some. Looks like we may have gotten some official MPD numbers. And Microsoft both consoles had a really good showing, and I'll just leave it at that. It just shows that the console industry is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely does.
Yeah,
and that's all that matters at the end of the day. As long as people are continuing to buy consoles and buy games, that means that the industry is healthy and it's not any chance of dying anytime soon. So that's all that matters. People continue to support great games. Don't support the shitty ass ones, broken ones. You know what I mean? Like support, quality developers and quality products, man.
Absolutely, man.
There you go.
You want these two pushing each other, man. You don't want one of them to be falling off because, that we've seen what happens when on both sides of the fence when you think you're untouchable, you think you have it, you have it on lock. You need them pushing, and I still say you want Nintendo in there just to kind of like
definitely
stir up the pot. I mean, Nintendo does seem, and I wonder if Nintendo really does see themselves this way, but I know a lot of people kind of relegate them to being the second console in your collection. If you have a sole console or all of them, you kind of have it as an added console. I wonder if I don't think they see themselves that way at all.
No.
We've kind of put them there, but they're probably like, no, we're still Nintendo because I've actually seen Reggie say, and like you go into a GameStop, you don't usually see, well, you'll see like Nintendo games for trade or, cheaper for trade, but you usually get your value back out of them.
Yes.
And GameStop's usually begging for them because a lot of people don't trade them in.
Yeah, true.
So they hold their value. That is one thing. And Nintendo will not ship a game if it's not ready to go.
Yeah, I was actually when they did a Switch today. Somebody posted a picture on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw the retweet I put up, but it was 2 old Fire Emblem games. And if you bought both of them, they were $400.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
One was like $248. The other one was like
Talk about
$148 or some shit like that. But yeah, it's like Nintendo games have always had like this high level of greatness to them. You know what I mean? So like even if if it's an old game or whatever the case is, like they're super valuable. You know what I mean? So people always want you to trade them in. They always try to, buy them from you or, want you to sell them on eBay and things like that. So their collection of games, you will never see another game that's regarded as high. So
no, you won't.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's very true. And the one thing I'll say about Nintendo is, while they may not innovate in certain ways that we expect them to, they do try to innovate in the sense they try to make gaming accessible to as many people as possible. And I mean, Microsoft maybe and Sony do that to the extent, but I don't think maybe to the extent that Nintendo does.
Right.
And we're seeing that with the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, Nintendo seemed to still. I mean, if you kind of think about it, when it comes to like Xbox and PlayStation, for lack of a better way of kind of putting it, they're sort of like the the family that's sort of like busy, like they're all over the place. You know, they don't really have time to sit down and like enjoy each other. But Nintendo is very much like trying to keep that family concept together, play together, sit together, you know, enjoy together, you know. So I guess a part of that is why, you know, they don't really put a ton of focus into, you know, chat infrastructures and things like that, because they still kind of hold that value of sitting in the living room with friends and family and playing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and they're trying to, yeah, and that's a great point. I mean, you look at a lot of the early advertisement that we've seen with the Switch. Everything is, yeah. I mean, there's people, you know, obviously there's pictures of individuals playing games by themselves, but they want to create like they want to make it a personal, like, social event. I mean, you look at some of the other pictures; they're out, people are outside, they have the Switch, they're playing, they're enjoying, they're having fun. You know, there's a certain level of engagement that takes place that goes back to that kind of old school way of how we used to game. You know, co-op back in the days was sitting next to your buddy on the couch.
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, playing. I mean, I remember playing Legend of Zelda, and like we take turns, you know, or Metroid. You know, boss battle Metroid, we take turns if someone couldn't beat it. Same thing with like games like Mega Man. I mean, that's, you know, and those are great experiences. You know, we don't have that a lot these days.
Mm-hmm.
At least I don't. I mean, my wife would probably look at me funny if I was like, "Oh yeah, my 40-year-old friends coming over. We're gonna try to beat Final Fantasy 15. And we're gonna pass the controller back and forth." You know?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. You know, like we said, we're going to keep an eye on this thing going forward and see how it does. Like when it comes to the casual side, and I have, you know, lots of friends who are casual gamers. They don't sit here like we do, you know, like looking at Twitter and getting involved and seeing how this side of the thing goes. They just take what it is at face value. And I was talking to a buddy of mine. He didn't watch the Switch presentation. You know, he picked up on a couple of things just to see what games were coming, but, you know, he didn't watch it verbatim. He'll hit me up and say, "Well, what happened? What do you think? How do you think it's going to look? What do you think is going to happen?" But his thing was, it doesn't matter about these little things that we're like mulling over, chat over the phone or the Joy-Con pricing and all this and that. He just said simply, "Yeah, I'm picking one up, but it won't be until June, July, you know, around my kid's birthday." He said, "Because that's what my son and I do. We rock out on Nintendo stuff."
Yeah.
That's it, man. You know?
That's how it is for a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, for hardcore gamers like us, we look at those little intricacies of,
right,
you know, the online infrastructure and the pricing of certain things and things like that. But for a lot of people, it's just gaming. You know what I mean? It's like, as long as the games are there, they'll pick it up.
Yeah. We allow the pouring over and the Twitter world and all. We allow all this stuff to kind of like taint some of our gaming experience. Sometimes I'm jealous of like my friends who have no clue what it is. Like, you know, like, cause I was kind of that person too. Like I stumbled into this like right after 2013 when a friend of mine told me, you rock out an Xbox, you should check out BGST. And I was like, okay. Now listening, and I was like, okay, well, at first I was like, no, they're doing their thing. And as time went on, we know kind of how those things went. But that's kind of how I got pulled into everything else. Yeah. And it's not all bad, but don't get me wrong. But when you, like I said, we've said it time and again, if a normal person, if you sat them down and let them read your Twitter timeline, they'd be like, "I don't want to game ever again. This is what this world is. This is horrible. Like, why do you even do this?" So, like, gamers are vicious on that side of it anyway, you know? So, yeah, sometimes I just look at my friends, like my cousin. He likes PlayStation, always has had a PlayStation from the jump. So a lot of times it's just brand recognition. It's what people are comfortable with. It's what they know. He has nothing against Xbox. He'll never say to me, "Oh, that's trash, that's garbage." He just bought one for his son. He just prefers PlayStation, right? So he hits me up maybe once, twice a year that outside of his NBA 2K be money, that's all that's what he rocks with. That's his joint. Like every time I'm on, that's the casual gamer. That's what they get, those couple of games.
Yep.
And when he wants to venture out, he'll say, "You know what I like? What should I be playing?" Yeah. I don't have to tell him about Uncharted because he knows about that. That's like one of his things. But I say, "Oh, you should definitely check out Titanfall 2. Oh, definitely check out Mad Max," because I know what his flavor is.
Right.
I got him into Infamous, so he knows to look out for that. But the other little fringe games. But that's it. He has no clue about a console war. I tell some of my buddies what goes on. They're just like, what? Or I send them tweets of things that people have said. And they're like, wow, really?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, I said that to say, hey, it's just the casual side of it is very interesting. I'm actually a little bit jealous of them sometimes because they just remember how to have fun with it, and that's all it's about.
Because they're not tied up in all the drama and stuff, and
right. So you take a moment back. Yeah, Switch is odd because everybody thinks everything needs to be the same. Everything has to be powerful. Everything, but why do you want everything to run the same games the same way all day long? Because we're kind of seeing that already with take away some of the exclusives from Xbox and PlayStation. They're literally almost the same console.
Yeah. You get added features here or there, but everybody literally plays the same games. We just may be on a different console.
Right. Pretty much. So, yeah, while I have questions and I'm a little like, wow, that's interesting that they went that route, I'm still excited by the Switch because, again, I'm a gamer. I like their games. I know when I get their games, they're going to be fun. But at the meantime, if they don't have something a few months down the road, I have a ton of other stuff to take up my time. I'm not saying everybody has that situation. I'm very blessed to have that situation.
Right.
But that person that is looking for the Switch and that's going to be their console, I promise you, they're not the one that's concerned about a ton of games coming all at once.
Not at all.
So.
I know I won't. I'm a multi-console owner.
Yeah, because the hardcore, you're gonna have a PlayStation or an Xbox or both. That should keep you plenty busy. And if you're gonna add the Switch to your collection, you're gonna be good. The mom and dad that are gonna go get the Switch for their kid, they're not gonna say, well, where are all the games for this thing? What's going on? They'll get that kid those few games that kid will rock out because that's what we used to do.
Yeah, my 7-year-old will probably rock out Mario Kart 8 for months, and be cool.
Yeah. We have the means. We're adults. We have the means to buy all the games that we want. But when we were kids and you had a Nintendo or a Sega, your parents got you maybe 1 or 2 games around the holidays.
Yeah, you got holidays,
one
on your birthday, and that was probably maybe one on Easter. But other than that, you have 4 games for the year, and you rock the hell out of them.
Yeah, you did. Exactly. In a lot of cases, it's still that way, but kids also play on cell phones now. Mm-hmm. Those are 99 cents a pop, so parents load them up with that. But when it comes to a console like the Switch, if a parent's going to go get that, it's probably going to be the same scenario. You get a couple of games to rock out on, and you keep it moving.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. Well, gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and wrap up.
Before we do, we had a question from chat.
Oh, okay.
And I promised him that we would cover it.
Yes, you should cover it.
He's very insistent. I promised him I would cover it.
Let's do it.
That is, it's from Anchorman. We all know who he is.
Hi, Anchor.
And he is wondering if we think Sunset Overdrive 2 needs to happen, and if we think it needs to happen, do we think it's going to happen?
It needs to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it needs to happen.
Yeah. I think it's it would be kind of unanimous that it needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think it needs to happen, but I would also like to see some changes to the multiplayer thing. I think the co-op stuff is cool, but I think what really would have sold that game is if you could have went 4v4 and kind of set it up kind of like old school Halo where you have the power weapons on the map.
Right.
You just have to power struggle. That would have been super dope because there's so many crazy weapons on there. And if you could have just been battling against each other, I think that game would have had a longer lifespan and more people probably would have picked it up just to play that style multiplayer versus, just the co-op thing. But I think it definitely needs to happen. I think it's a strong possibility that it could happen. I don't know if it would technically be a exclusive anymore or anything like that. But
that was going to be my question.
I think they would do multi-console at that point.
That was going to be my question. And I would say if it has any chance of it happening, that's how it's going to happen. Because Insomniac
own the IP?
Yeah, they own the IP.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is kind of B-Money Enrique, you back, let me know if I'm wrong on this, but I think that was Insomniac insisting upon that when they shopped the game around, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted the IP, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they shopped it to PlayStation, and PlayStation was like, no, we will buy the IP and you can make the game.
Right.
Yeah. I'm nah, we good. You you make us work on all these games and we don't own jack shit. So take our business elsewhere.
Right. So if that's how that game is gonna get another chance, I'm for it. I don't want this to fall into like console warish type stuff, because I just love the IP and I always love as many people as possible playing it.
And plus, we've talked about that before in other areas. But the reality is, third-party exclusivity is almost never a good thing. There are very few and far between situations where it's understandable. But
right. Because I would even say the same about Spider-Man. I think.
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man is the goofiest thing I ever heard of. Like every other Spider-Man game has been multi-console.
Yep.
But this one is exclusive.
Yeah.
There's no reason like Xbox gamers, Switch gamers or whoever shouldn't have a chance to play that game.
The game may be unrelated to the movie, but it's Sony Pictures pulling something.
Yeah.
With their involvement in the film. They're doing that.
Yeah, probably.
The silliest thing is like just put it on the other consoles. Like you're still gonna make the money off of it for some.
You'll make more money.
Whatever the case is, and you have a game that's multi-console. Like, why would you not do that?
Exactly.
I don't understand.
But like to what Anchor's saying in chat. Now I'm with you, man. Like, I want a sequel, like really bad. Sunset was that game that when the Xbox One was like, announced and when it was coming, I was like. Out of everything they talked about, Rise, whatever the case may be, I looked at that game and I said, that game is taking me straight back to Dreamcast and older days of gaming.
What? Jet Set Radio? Hello.
But just the fact that it was messing with color. It wasn't just drab. It wasn't just about real world guns and bullets and things like. It was just. I was like, that looks silly for all the right reasons.
Yeah,
had this goofy story to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I was like, if I don't pick up another game when I get my Xbox One, that'll be the game. I couldn't wait to get my hands on that game. And I said, I don't care what it costs. Like, I don't care if it's on sale or whatever. I bought that game as soon as I got my Xbox One. I'm
telling you, it's one of the best games on the Xbox One.
Yeah, and it's criminal that people ignored it. It's criminal that even when it was free, I don't think a lot of people like jumped on it.
Yeah.
So,
shame, man.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
So no, Anchor, it definitely deserves and definitely should have another game. It definitely should have that.
Yeah, I agree. 110%. Yeah. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. And hey, big shout out and thank you to Shinobi for joining us tonight. Always great having him on. This is the second time he's been on the podcast. It's always just, he's a big fan of gaming, and it was great talking video games with him tonight and getting his perspective on some of the topics we discussed. And I know John had to leave early, but big shout out to John as well. And remember to check out our sister podcast, Super Informed Gamescast, which goes live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday night. They'll be on tomorrow night. Definitely check those guys out. And I don't know if you guys heard, but John will be out at PAX East this year, as media, and he'll be sitting on a panel discussing hate in the gaming community. So definitely keep an eye out for that as we get closer or at PAX East this year. So, B Money, Eric, Sam, as always, it's a pleasure, gentlemen, shooting this shit with you guys and talking video games.
Absolutely.
Anytime, man.
Yeah. Big shout out to big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Hey, Josh was back, so big shout out to Josh. He's our moderator, and so great seeing him on, and great seeing Anchor and Fastback and everyone else in the chat. Chat was always live, always positive. So thank you again, and hey, give us a thumbs up. And remember to subscribe as well. And outside of that, we'll check you guys next week. We'll probably be giving you guys some impressions on some new video games that are coming out. I know I'll be picking up Gravity Rush 2 on Friday. The rest of us will be picking up. Well, then I think all of us are picking up Resident Evil 7. So
let's just be honest, it's going to be the Resident Evil 7 cast.
It probably is. It probably is. Well, I'll talk about Gravity Rush 2 a little bit, but I think Resident Evil 7 is probably going to take a good portion of the podcast. So, So Yeah, so we'll be back next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, give us a like and subscribe as well. And oh, you know what? Actually, we have a special guest next week. Bello actually will be joining us next week. So look out for that. I'm sure she's going to go on a rant about something. So
she's going back into Final Fantasy 15, man. Like, how many hours now?
Oh, dude, she's committed, man. We'll have to get her to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I clocked out at 80. What about you, B? How many hours did you?
I put in like 64, but I'm gonna go back and try to get that plat, man.
All right.
I just ain't trying to do with all that damn fishing.
Yeah, I went for the big boys. I just went for the biggest fish. I fished like lakes dry.
Yeah,
and
those groupers are nasty.
And it went pretty fast. Actually, one of the nastier ones are the gar.
Yes, yeah, they're pretty bad too.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. So that's what I did, and when I went after the two big boys, it maxed out really quick. But that survival grind was no joke, man. Trying to get that to go up because you're just running around. So yeah, and I got like a little tip from someone that said just put a rubber band on it and let knockers run circles for a while.
There you go.
I was like, I'm not above doing that because I'm yeah. So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Too funny, man.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And remember, gamers, to game on, but more importantly, have fun doing so. Because that's what gaming's fucking about. Not about arguing and getting all bent out of shape over pieces of plastic.
Stop arguing about fake news, people.
Yeah.
That's serious.
Yeah, and the plastic didn't do anything to you, man. The plastic's here for fun.
Yeah.
If you really want to be mad at people, be mad at people who give you false information.
Facts.
Yeah.
It's time to start holding people accountable, for trying to get your clicks. And that goes on across the board. It's not just the IGNs and the GameSpots. These fan sites are doing the same thing to you.
Facts. I like saying that.
Support real gaming news, man. The gaming journalism is all over the place right now, man. Support real gaming news.
Absolutely.
Yeah, RGM. So yeah, definitely check out RGM. Both Eric and Sam are contributors to that website, so definitely check them out. And real quick, people, before we wrap up, man, what's up with tech, man? You guys have anything going on this week? Any special guests?
We actually do have a special guest.
Nice.
I don't know if it's actually been announced, so I won't say it officially yet. But let's just say that this guest formerly worked for PlayStation and is now working at another studio. So he's a pretty big face of some of the PlayStation E3s and some special marketing.
Wow!
So you guys stay tuned. Check us out. And just keep your eyes to the Twitter streets because there may be a big announcement real soon.
What? Is it who I'm thinking it is?
I'm not gonna say, man. I'm not gonna say. I'll tell y'all off the air.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So keep an eye out for the big tick announcement on Twitter. Oh man, I'm excited now. All right, everyone. We'll catch you guys next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday. Peace.
This has been another Brat podcast.
Thank you, Stan.